Welcome. I am Pastor Janet Hellner Burris of the Christian Church of Wilkinsburg, the place for peace. We are studying the Beatitudes and each week focusing on a new one. This week we are looking at the Beatitude, "Blessed are the merciful, for they shall inherit the earth." Imagine a world without mercy. Imagine that every hurtful word or unkind thing you did was constantly thrown in your face. Imagine every race never forgetting what another race did to them, every religion holding on to what another religion did to them in the past, every nation rehearsing and rehearsing and rehearsing the horrible things that had been done to them. It would be hell on earth, wouldn't it? A world without mercy. That is why Jesus calls us to the spiritual practice of mercy. When we practice mercy, we are showing the world the very heart of our God, who, as Thomas Merton once said, is mercy within mercy within mercy. That word mercy in the Hebrew Bible is called hesed, and it is often translated as loving kindness or steadfast love. Over 100 times we are told in the book of the Psalms alone that God is merciful. Sometimes that word hesed is translated as steadfast love or loving kindness. Two excellent descriptions of what it means to be merciful. As I think of mercy, I think of three things: moving from condemnation to compassion, moving from condemning someone for their hurtful actions to having compassion for those who wound others because they are wounded. I also think of moving from bitterness to forgiveness. Without forgiveness, we hold on to all the hurt and all the pain that has been done to us, and our hearts grow cold and hard. Jesus calls us to move from bitterness to forgiveness, to practice forgiveness 70 times 7. And finally, as we learn to be merciful, we learn that we can move from focusing on our own personal suffering to alleviating the suffering of another. This we have seen many times through history. Mad Dads was formed by a father who lost his son to the streets. And now there are across America in every urban neighborhood men who are on the streets talking to young men, encouraging them to make better choices. Mothers Against Drunk Drivers started out of the suffering of one woman for the death of her daughter by a drunk driver. In my own life, my suffering from breast cancer now causes me to focus on my sisters who are walking that journey. I have a ministry of prayer and a ministry of healing for those women who are going through the terror of breast cancer. God will use our suffering to alleviate the suffering of another if we will let God do that for us. As I like to say, God never wastes our suffering. So blessed are the merciful, for they will live in a world with far more kindness, far more love, far more compassion, and far more forgiveness.